So, here on The Raging Atheist, I try to ask the really hard questions. And the question today is the God of Abraham even really the three O's God? What is up, you heathens and demons, you sinners and saints, you beautiful, blasphemous bastards? Welcome back to The Raging Atheist. I am your boy Nakasuchi, and today we're going to look at a really serious question, and that is whether or not the God of Abraham is a three O's God, therefore that God that is the creator of this entire universe. So, I think most Christians would even agree that if some being did indeed create this entire universe, that it would fit a specific definition, that we do have a definition of what that would take. And that would be the three O's. The three O's characterize the creator of the universe as being all-powerful, all-knowing, and everywhere present. Now, omnipotence means that God is in total control of himself and of his creation. Omniscience means that he is the ultimate criteria of what is truth and what is false, so that his ideas can never be wrong. They are always true. Omnipresence means that since the creator's power extends to all parts of his creation, well, then that creator is present everywhere. So, if something did indeed create this universe, I think most of us would agree that these are the characteristics that thing would have. Now, I don't believe that thing was there. I don't believe in that thing. I don't think that thing is necessary for the universe. This is their position. So I have to ask the question, if that is what it requires for a being to be the creator of the universe, well then, is the God of Abraham that creator of the universe? Is he that three O's God? So first, let's start with omnipotence. Control of himself and his creation. Does the God of Abraham have control of his creation? Well, we only really have one book that we can draw from to answer this question, and that is the Holy Bible. The Bible of the Holy Spirit, the Bible of the God of Abraham. The Bible that holds descriptors of what the God of Abraham thinks and what the God of Abraham does. So I'm just going to make a few points here. I could go in really in depth. I could bring up, Bible verse and particular stories and particular things, but I just want to talk about just a few things here. And the first thing that I want to talk about is the flood itself. Now, here we have a descriptor of God that completely lost control of his creation and probably his emotions as well. His creations were running rampant, according to the story. One creation, the angels, were fucking another creation, earthly human women who had big titties and fat asses. I put that part there. And that shit got out of control, and they were birthing these giants that, depending on who you ask, were either, heroes of old that were saving the world from some mysterious evil, probably Satan, or horrendous monsters that were destroying the world. But whatever they were, God, in a fit of fury, kills everybody except for one family. He's like, you know what? Fuck all of y'all. I'm gonna start from scratch, and we're gonna start with this family here. Is that having control of your creation? Now, yeah, maybe in the moment when he sent the waters, he had control of his creation, but leading up to that, did God have control of his creation? Or how about the second covenant? That whole thing with Jesus coming and changing everything, changing the covenant with man to where all you have to do now is believe in Jesus and all the shit that Jesus said and did, and that Jesus is God, and you will be granted with eternity in heaven. Why did God have to change shit up if he had complete control of his creation? I mean, clearly, the monstrous, atrocious God of the Old Testament had to change himself. Clearly, he had to make a new covenant with man, or man would what? I don't know, like just descend into complete and utter madness? Because it's pretty fucking crazy now, and we have this whole second covenant thing. I mean, the fact that you have to change things up, the fact that you have to come up with a new plan, shows a lack of control over your creation. And I don't know, I think also the fact that your new plan requires you having a son and having that son tortured and murdered, I think that's a question of your own personal morality as a god, as a higher being. And I mean, when we're talking about having even just control of itself, this God of Abraham, like how many times in the Bible does he not lose his shit and just either threaten or send his Israelites to wipe out people that offend him? I mean, I get accused of being emotional and not having control of my emotions. Why don't you hold that same standard to God? I mean, and not to mention that God doesn't even have control of his own people. Protestants and Catholics been at war for like how long? Like to this very day they're at war in Ireland still, killing each other still. And who's right, the Catholics or the fucking Protestants? You know, I was just talking to Math Pig about this not too long ago. And he showed me some pictures of the shit that he himself has seen recently of this war between Catholics and Protestants. I mean, like, it really seems to me that the God of Abraham doesn't not only have control of his creation, he doesn't have control of himself, but he doesn't have control of his own goddamn followers. Next, I want to talk about his omniscience, like the supposed omniscience that this creator of the universe would have to actually be a fucking creator of the universe. I mean, how could the God of Abraham possibly be the ultimate criteria of what is truth and false when his own creations that were made in his image can't agree on anything? And you know, we've had long enough now to observe culture, to observe society, to observe morality and ethics within culture and society. And we can see with our own two fucking eyes that ethics and morality change within societies over time. Does that mean that God changes? And I mean, if God changes, well, which version of God is that ultimate criteria of truth and falsity? Which version would that be? And I mean, I could go on and on each of these three O's, but I'll just end like, you know, Christians all claiming revelation from the same God. You think that those revelations, if this was the ultimate criteria of truth, honesty, and what could possibly be false, you would think that all of those revelations would be very consistent if they were coming from this same being. But they are not. Which leaves us with omnipresence, which brings us the problem of evil. If God is all powerful, if God is everywhere, and he has the power to stop evil, then why doesn't he? If God is in Yemen right now watching as children, babies, starve to death, a horrible death, evil, and he has the power to stop it, but he chooses not to. Well, I think it goes to show that this clearly isn't an omnipresent God. And if you actually look at the text and you see the amount of interaction between God and humanity, then if this God did indeed exist, it either doesn't anymore or it's long left this world behind. Therefore, I mean, it is clearly my opinion that the God of Abraham is not a three O's God and therefore cannot be the God that supposedly it would have taken to create this universe. In fact, if the God of Abraham exists at all, it would be a very minor and very, very petty God. But I don't believe in any gods. I think the theists put that God there in their assumptions of how this universe came to be. I don't think a God is required to be there. But I'm not going to bullshit you and tell you that I know for everything that I am that a God wasn't there. So I can only look at the criteria of what it would take for a God to be there and then judge these human gods as they come to me. Does it fit that criteria? The God of Abraham doesn't. Got to send that shout out to my patrons. You guys are the shit. Your support means everything. You stick with me. My patrons on Patreon, as well as my silent patrons on my PayPal account. I appreciate all of you. I appreciate your support. I thank you for seeing me for what I am and what I'm trying to do. And as always, if you like the video, hit the thumbs up, subscribe, share me on your social media, comment in the comment section below. I'm trying to get better at doing that. With everything, I gotta form that habit again. I gotta get better at it, and I'm trying. Hit the bell so you're notified every time I put out a new video, every time we have a new live stream. And as always, well, I'm gonna see you soon.